because I'm sure that we will be having some touches with Sama and the report.
Very much so.
Yeah. And maybe we can look at in section 3 where we are talking about Vision 2030 and the so what. So somewhere we can touch upon gradually over the next phase. Yeah, something. For the first phase, which is critically important for us from the regulatory and deregulation and industry initiatives per se. So how do you suggest to balance? I mean, this is something an important point which came into our mind when we narrating the story and storyboarding it. So shall we talk about first about the regulations from SAMA and then jumping on to the Saudi payments, how they are enabling it, this, or how should be the narration?
I would believe that we will need to link things together. So the regulation and spinning of the operation of payments, they come together. Because SAMA cannot regulate and at the same time operate. So they come together. That is, now we are regulating, so we have to spin off the operation of this infrastructure. And this infrastructure is, we want to design it in a way that to be an enabling infrastructure for everybody, and to enable others to be a part of this, then we have to do this regulation. So I think they are interconnected somehow, and this is the view maybe we want to drive it. Because usually, in my view, many people, they perceive regulation as challenging more than enabling for innovation, that is not the point I want to cover. And we have, what we have seen later, recently, is that not. What is exactly is happening on the ground is that once SAMA starts stepping into this by sandbox, regulatory sandbox, and now regulation, I think they are enabling the innovation, not hindering the innovation.
There'll be some nice examples of other markets which have exactly done regulation enabling commerce.
PSD2 is a very great example of regulation enabling innovation. It's
enabling a whole market, a whole ecosystem, a whole market itself.
So I would phrase it that way. That is what SAMA is doing in all the different moves. SAMA is from one way is creating regulations and all of that, but they also, SAMA is the one who decided to spin off Saudi payments to give it more strong position in enabling the whole ecosystem for more innovation, and it's also allowing new types of players into the markets so they can drive more cashless and financial inclusion and all of that.
One of the questions that came up earlier on, and one of the thoughts that came up around cashless, and this view to get to enable a cashless society, was discussed in a separate way around enabling and creating a better society. So almost that the cashless is a goal of enabling, but to improve society, to improve people's lives, to improve experiences. It's not just payments and cashless, it's a society, it's an impact on society.
I agree. I think that is a very good point to highlight, because to me, whether you pay using card or mobile, whether you dip your card and you spend 2 minutes, it's still cashless, but using the NFC, the contactless is contributing to this consumer experience. When we were discussing the introduction of mobile payments, some people, they say, okay, you are just digitizing the card, so the same payment you will get from plastic card, you're now getting it to the mobile. What is how much of this will contribute to the cashless? And actually, no, I think because it is a better consumer experience or customer experience to use their mobile to make the payment, this indirectly contribute to more cashless transaction as well. So yes, improving, especially that there is a big focus on the vision around the lifestyle enhancement of the people on this. I think that is a good point. Also that digital payments, especially those the new technology, mobile and NFC and all of that, that makes people life easier. From one side. From the other side, that will enable people maybe to do things that they were not able to do with cash. For example, they're tracking their budget and spending and all of that. It is a value of the data they can get out of the digital payments that they cannot get today from the cash side. And that is something that is one of the area that I would expect maybe open banking and maybe other fintech to go. SAMA has a different objective rather than the cashless thing is to encourage saving, because when it comes to saving, our culture is not a saving culture.
It's not the only one. Most cultures, sadly.
No, and now we are more. so one of the SAMA objectives, I think it's a part of SDB program, is to encourage this saving culture and to encourage, other than awareness and all of that, sometimes you need to provide tools, things that encourage people to do savings.
There was off topic, in New Zealand have got the same cultural issue of spenders not savers. People are spending too much and going into debt. They launched a red button in the application. The leading bank, I think it's ANZ, have got a big red button which is save, and you set an amount. So you set $1, $2, $5. So the whole culture is people will spend and buy a coffee without even thinking. So the position was just press the red button when you're feeling, when you open up your application, and it automatically saves money into your account. It takes $2 out. And it's just it was more of a
there are different ways, and then that is what I'm talking about. How maybe we can use fintech to help people to do saving, not only awareness and education. That is a good part, but you also need those kind of innovative ideas. And I have seen one that they use fractions. So when you pay something 99, they debit 100, they round it up, and they take that difference and put it in somewhere to save. So you don't feel it. With each transaction, they take few cents. You don't feel it, but at the end, you are
making big money.
Yeah. They have those fintech ideas and innovative ideas to encourage this or to help people do this. Sometimes it's good to see to compare your spending in order to help you to maybe optimize your spending. How much you spent last month, how much you're spending this month. Are you spending more? Are you spending less on phone voices, on electricity, on whatever? We have all the data. If somebody wants to do that, we have data is there. And actually, it's most of the data is, when I'm talking about this, especially for the bill payment, it is not only it is there and it is in same source. So if you go to Sadat as an individual, and if the bank think about this, only from Sadat they can know all your bill payments. So they can give you a good view on how much you're spending on electricity, on phone, on government fees, on other things. From only one source. They don't have to go to STC, Mobile, CC, and all those companies to collect data to know about the information.
You mentioned about the vision. Should we reference the 2030 visions within the reports, the likes of lifestyle? One of the visions are.
I think it's good I think we will need to mention it once a while, but I wouldn't like to use it, because I have seen this in some other places. They are linking everything, whether even you're drinking coffee, this is because your vision, and it is linked to the vision and all of that. So we need to be very careful not to overuse
couple of
this
references.
linkage, but I think somewhere we have to, because also the cashless today target is one of the target of financial sector development program, and this financial sector development program is one of the government transformation program that is a part of the vision, because there is this vision, and under the vision there are different programs. One of them is financial sector development program, and all SAMA related initiatives as a part of that. By the way, there is a complete document for financial sector development program.
Fantastic, yeah.
I would believe that it's a very good document, very good reading. It's specifically for financial sector. It has all all initiatives that we had. Many services and products we launched in the last 2 years, they were about to the program.
Any other questions?
One question we had around the emerging technologies, which includes artificial intelligence, DLT, and IoT, all these technologies. We just spoke to the VP Innovation, and he had a pretty good example of how DLT is making some strides, but he was unsure of how the others are likely to shape up, like artificial intelligence. Any idea on how these emerging technologies could make their way?
I think we are, and as I said before, I think we have a good amount of data that, whether it is Saudi payments or banks or other companies, but I think we haven't yet utilized it enough towards product or services or even customer services or other things. I think it would be contributing. The government is very keen to have this growing to the point they created the government new established government agency for data and AI. That is a government vision is trying to drive this. Government itself are already started utilizing the data in different areas, and I think because this organization is only established very recently, but I think going forward, because one of maybe challenges of AI sometimes is also regulations and all of that, and how you data. Same thing today. We don't have a data privacy law. We don't have that. So I think the establishment of this government is going to drive this going forward.
And that would be a GDPR. Do you think there could be a regulation on the back of that?
Yes, I think it's definitely happening. I don't know how soon, but it's definitely happening. And I have read and reviewed a draft one long time ago, 3-4 years ago. I reviewed the draft one, but I think it was going to be published by Ministry of Interior or something, and then for some reason they hold it. And now they created this new agency for data and AI, and I think it is the one who's going to issue data privacy regulation.
So this data
But
and
yes,
AI
from AI specific and data related technology, which is, let's say, machine learning,
analytics.
data analytics, and all of that, I think establishing this government agency is going to drive this forward. And the coming, there is a focus from the government itself to There is also government also created a federation for I don't know what is the relation, but they call it Federation of Cyber Security, Drones and Robotics, I think.
That's the federation. Federation of Cybersecurity, Drones
and Robotics, I think, or something. But it's
So all graduates are going to go and want to work in there or AI and data. that's where they want to go. I don't want to go to Ministry of Interior anymore. I want to go to work in drones.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Which is, I think it's a very good government move into encouraging the new emerging technology.
Very progressive.
Very progressive. And, they are now, I think, some of it related to the regulation of that, because I remember before, some time back, for example, for drones, you were not allowed to fly drones because there is no underlying regulations or something that has consumer protection and privacy protection and all of that. Now I think they started doing something, and today I know that they have a licensing process. So if you want to have to fly a drone, there is a licensing process. You can apply for it, and you can get a license to do that. So there is the government is trying to push this. IoT, I think, a Ministry of Technology and Communication is looking into that. I have seen few conferences and contribution in IoT, but from a movement onto this, I'm not sure, but it's also one that from the blockchain perspective, we had one project that is, I think it's announced with maybe very little information, which is the project that SAMA and Central Bank of UAE is working on, using blockchain for a digital currency.
Digital currency. It's harder, right?
Sorry?
Harder.
And how can we get a list of discussion or initiatives points, what is being pursued by SAMA over the next 12 months? So there are certain things happening other than what is there on the public sources or what we discussed now.
I think we can arrange that with SAMA because I think there are 3 or 4 people in the interview part are from SAMA. Talk to the guys that we need to do some politics discussion before, but after that, I'm not sure if you can meet them in person unless you maybe in your next visit, but even you can make maybe a conference call or something. But we have a few people in SAMA that are identified for interview.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, and I have seen the list today, I think they are the right people to interview from a payment perspective, because we have Hussam, who is the head of this payment supervision department. So he is the one who's heading all the payment supervision in SAMA. So talking about licensing, rules, regulations, future in this area would be covering. We have the other guy who's responsible for, let's call it, national payment strategy in SAMA also. So it's the strategical part of the payment in terms of maybe a payment future from a SAMA perspective. They are both included. I've seen the name of the guy who's today managing the regulatory sandbox. So he has a good view on what type of fintech they already got licensed or what type of fintech they already applied, because I'm sure there are some fintech already applied and some are maybe not even ready to accept So I'm sure there are some cryptocurrency and crypto things that Sana is okay, maybe later, not now.
Still reading up on it.
Yes.
And as we are going to get inputs from Sama and all, so from the cover page point of view, so we have a lot of events happening going to come in future, like G20 is one, which is going to be significant, and then Vision 2030 is there. So do you want us to highlight those things in the cover page, like G20, Vision 2030, Sama, all that stuff, along with the logo of Saudi Payments?
I don't think so,
Okay.
because the moment we do that, then we have to go through an intensive review from Sama and others before publishing the report.
Okay.
Because the thing that is so special about G20 this year is that Saudi is the presidency of the G20. So anything that is published by Sama or under the name of the Sama or related to the G20 would be considered as an official, very official and formal publications,
Yeah.
which is I don't want
Right.
to go there.
Okay. And how about Sama, along with your logo?
Not even Sama.
Not
yeah,
even
and
Sama,
I
okay.
would believe that this is the Saudi payment report. It
Okay.
has to stay a Saudi payment
Okay.
report. We will mention Sama from the perspective as a regulator. Okay, and what they are doing, how Saudi payment is saying regulator enabling innovation and changing the whole landscape of payments towards a more cashless society. So from that perspective,
Yes. Okay.
they have. We're still trying to get some. In Sama, they did a very good study, I think, a few months ago on the cashless. I'm not sure if we will be able to have access to that. We might have access to some part of that. Because I know it's a very.
Yeah, we can mention just the percentage.
Yeah,
56%,
percentage,
yeah.
But they have more.
Yeah, of course.
They have. They have the percentage. They calculate the percentage based on an intensive research study. Okay, so they did surveys, they did interviews, they did this, and they calculate this. This is the generic number, but actually they have a similar number for each type of thing. So they say, okay, in P2P, the cashless is this. And consumer to merchant, this is the cashless. And government to government, this is the cashless. And the business to government, this is the cashless. So they have more information, definitely. We will keep trying to get that. Okay, and if we get it, it would be a very good also input to the report. If we, Sama is very conservative around the data usually, so we'll see how we can manage that. And I would think, our point is that okay, if you do this, if you don't publish it, you don't have the full value of doing all of this exercise. Yeah. So okay, you say it's 36 unless you start publishing it, and this what is the value, but we need to discuss that more with Sama and see. So the first level is the total 36. That is we can, because it's already public. They already announced that. The second level is the cashless on a instrument way. The third level is that they have more details on. I'm sure they have it. In order to reach this consolidated level, they go through even. I think they have a good information even on the customer behavior and other things, and customer preferences, and that. If we can have an access to that, it will enrich our. But if we don't, then we will use our attributes and others to have a good. Perfect.
Any other questions?
No. So did you? Yeah. So did you have a chance to look at our executive interview guide, the questionnaire? What we are thinking to go and reach out to executives outside to the world. Like we have banks, telcos, e-commerce, a lot of players that we will be interviewing with them and getting their perspective, the market perspective into the report. The questions are around emerging technology, collaboration, payment service providers, so and so forth. So that's
Yeah, I have.
You have
yes, I have a view on that, and I have seen the list. Most of them I know the
yeah.
persons.
So
I think there was a discussion with those that on maybe 3 or 4 executive people, but I'll talk with those and see.
That's the 3 or 4 shouldn't be in there or should be in there?
No. He was talking to me that can you nominate maybe 3 or 4 executive level
yeah, absolutely.
people that they are more visionary.
Yes,
yes.
exactly.
He put he's put them in priority order. So
Actually, I said, but I told Ghadir today when I went to the list, there are some executives in the banks, so digital banking heads and
Yes, good
retail
positions in
heads,
that.
and
senior
so.
people.
But I think also is looking for maybe a more visionary, which is that is still possible. Yani, if you see it as a value, we can arrange for an interview with a bank CEO. We did this in a previous engagement, and we can.
That would be good. So let's set up the meetings we have now, and we will come back and ask for a couple more, because sometimes we get acceptance, sometimes we don't get. And if we're not getting the right level of executives accepting, then we'll come back and get some CEOs. That'd be really good to get there.
When it comes to banks, I think we have all the access. We can, in all different levels, from the CEO, the next level, and all of it.
Perfect.
We have people, we have access, we have contacts. And from the banking, other than you will have an interesting journey throughout this. Recently, some banks are moving. We did it was 2017. In 2015, end of 2015, as I told you, we start having this vision of fintech and all of that. Inside the payment department. In 2016, we worked to spread that knowledge and focus to SAM internally. Beginning of 2017, we said how we can push this to the bank as well. Because you go to the bank beginning of 2017, you ask them what fintech is, they don't know. They don't feel any threat, they're relaxed, nothing. So we did a one-day conference. It was in, I think, April 2017. Called it Future of Banking. And we actually invited very strong speakers, including Brett King, if you know Brett King.
Oh, he's great.
Yes, Brett King and Matthew Rizzi, the Italian guy, and another 2 or 3. And it was one complete day, and
So
we
Brett King told the banks, "You're all dead. You're all finished."
and this is the message that we want to do. What we did, we designed the day into 2 parts. Okay, so we said in the morning sessions, we want to threaten banks. One of the session, we call it banking without banks. So we have Brett King in the morning, and we have the other guy, what's his name? He's also a famous guy. He was talking about banking without bank. And in the afternoon, we relax the tone a little bit. We say, okay, but there is an opportunity to maybe collaborate with fintech and to innovate and to do all of this. And for this day, we invited not only CEOs of the bank, but also the chairman of the banks. And it it was opened by governor, and that was maybe the one of the triggers to have banks at least starting moving. And in that event, we announced that we are working on regulatory sandbox, and we are establishing fintech zone. And then sometime after that, we had the meeting with all the banks to discuss how fintech zone and how we want to do that. Recently, in 2019, actually, I think there is a good movement from few banks. By the way, I have a very good report. It might be a good influence. It's a little bit old, but I think in 2017, I think, we did a digital banking maturity study. And we have a report of that. So we did this maturity study from two sides, from the demand side. So we went and did some survey and asked the customer what they are expecting and all of that. And we did it from a demand side, and we went to all the bank services and we see how they are offering their services from a digital perspective and all of that. We also did a self-assessment, digital maturity within the bank, and then we consolidate that in a report. And one of I think we had remember maybe 5 findings at the end. One of them was saying that we believe that customers are ready, but banks are not for this digital transformation.
It's still true. I think it's even more so true today.
Yes. Now, I would believe, if you ask me what changed from 2 years ago now, I would say that banks are a little bit more ready than 2 years ago. I have seen some movement from some banks at least. I was impressed by what Rajhi is doing recently. I think there are. The good thing is the other finding was that saying that if one bank starts doing it, it will lead all the banks. And I'm very happy that Rajhi, this is the biggest bank we have, is leading that. Rajhi, they have, I visited them, I think 2 months ago. They had a complete one-floor digital center. They have all the tools and of creating a customer journey. They are dividing their teams in small teams to be more agile, and they just launched a new mobile app, and they started this from scratch. They said, we're not going to enhance what we have today. We will start from scratch, okay? And in order to do that, they go to the market, they meet with people, their customer and some other bank customers. They go around and they ask them, what would you like to see in a bank, a mobile bank, or how you want to do that, about this. And then through the designing, they use all those tools to design the user interface and experience. So you put the balance here, not here, because customer focus more here, not there. You have all those camera and things.
Have you seen anybody else? Rajhi have you seen anybody else?
I haven't seen what I have seen in Rajhi. Rajhi is investing too much in this area. What I like also is that because they were talking about a few things that they are working on, and what I like is that they started thinking of a complete customer journey, not only a very specific journey that's specific to them, which is it was very interesting to me. I have seen it in some other industry, and it's good to see it in banking. So, for example, when you need a mortgage, their idea is saying, okay, the customer need a mortgage for a reason. They need to buy a house. So how we can help the customer from the beginning of journey by helping them also to select the house. Okay, so they start building those virtual reality things where you can explore houses and offers and you go through that. And for same thing for the auto lease, they're also trying to manage the full customer experience to the way they say you need to buy a car. If you are so solid about the car you're buying, then you can just select it, we give you the loan, we deliver it to you at home. You don't need to visit any place, you don't need to come to Rajhi, you don't even need to go to the car dealer.
It's like how they're evolving towards becoming everyday banks. They're becoming the center of the ecosystem and
Looking
providing
at the complete
financial
journey
and
of
non-financial needs also of the customer. So
because he's saying this financial needs is triggered by a non-financial need. So how we can manage the full journey of the customer, make it easier for him to do all of this. So it's an impressive what they're doing, especially from this bank, by the way, because they're changed big time. Yes.
Do we have any more questions? We really appreciate we've taken enough of your time.
Yes. No, that's
So that's been really insightful. Thank you very much. These guys are going to kind of write up and then play back at some point when the storyline is formed, and make sure you're happy with the construct and the story.
And anytime you have more questions, we can arrange a call or you can send it email.
Sure.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
I leave this room knowing more than I come in. Always meeting you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You enjoy it. Thanks, that's it. I will come.
Thanks to Gada ma'am for your patience and helping us to
And managing the diary.
Managing it.
There is no way we could have done that already. Probably would have had one meeting. All the other things do. Business is... And then is that everybody? Except for Zia? So that's all the VPs. Fantastic. One of the most interesting people I've met in the industry. He knows everybody. So he's knowledgeable. He can pick up the phone to any CEO and get the experience. So knowledgeable, respected.
He reads a lot.
And at the same time, all that apart, he has the time and the patience to serve. That's the biggest.
His PA must have such a tough job. Because he talks, and his meeting schedule must just run on and on. But he genuinely enjoys it. Sorry? Thank you very much.
So what can you do? It's open?
Yes, it's open on the inside, it's all green. Yeah, we're sure. Thanks again. Thank you.
want the whole report, or at least the kind of a construct of it.
Yes, yes.
You have in the banks, you have pockets of some very people like the innovation guy, young, smart, intelligent, challenging,